bridge, and he did really well. And he went back to the doctor, and the doctor was like,
What the hell did you do?
basically, like, he was in awe. Like, and he's an old school doctor too, so it cannot be swayed. Like, you don't know anything. You're not a doctor, so like, don't tell me what to do. But he told my husband when he left the room, he was like, if you go home and you do whatever you want, and when you come back, if it doesn't work, then you're going to do what I say to do.
Right.
And it was like literally like 3 months he did it and went back, and all his numbers were just completely normal.
Just kidding. That's how I'm going to get my coffee.
Oh, now was your husband, were you married to your husband when you did the challenge years ago?
He was.
So he saw you.
He did, and he didn't do it then. So, and then we, like I said, we moved away, and life just happened, and we fell into the recession. I lost my job. He was still commuting back to Ventura. We were like making pennies. Like, we had a little one, like, you know.
All right, you guys pulled it out.
We pulled it out, and then 3 years ago, he lost like 75 pounds. He did so good. Like, and now he skis again, and he's had multiple surgeries in the last year. He's had some issues that he's had to have surgery after surgery. And so he's kind of like he's good. I make his food every day, and so he does really well that way when he's working.
Why can't I have that experience?
But the only problem is, and I
do like to cook.
I mean, I do like to cook, but I've never had an experience where I was in a relationship and someone like cooked.
I tell him all the time, the only reason you lost all that weight is because I made your food for you.
Yeah, that's right. Actually, I shouldn't say that. That's not true. That's not 100% true. But it sounds very nice.
But the only problem is he won't deviate. Like, I'm like, you need to like mix it up during the day. Like, he will eat the same flipping food every day. I mean, it makes it easy for me. Like, I don't have to guess what he needs for lunch. But
if you mix it up on him, will he eat it?
No, like he doesn't want it mixed up.
Okay, are you guys?
I'm sorry. Yeah, we're ready. Yeah, ready. Sorry. Are we on? Okay.
Okay. So
what do you want to do?
We're on. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a quick little open.
Okay.
So then we'll be quiet. It takes like 30 seconds.
Okay.
And then we'll have a conversation.
Okay.
Right. So this would be like our regular
check-in.
Oh, but you're not going to broadcast my numbers, are you?
She's like,
I didn't sign up for that. Oh, wait, do I need to sign a disclosure?
Right. We're going to show everybody exactly.
I know, perfect scale. Right?
Yes. Perfect.
Thank you.
Exactly.
There's a flying.
Now, when I go last is Karen Beard. You want me to say your maiden name?
No.
So Karen Beard is.
Yeah, I'm married. So.
CB.
CB.
All right. So you're really married.
I went from CK to CB. I just kept with the Calvin Klein initial. And my mom is Barbara as well. So.
No way. Okay.
She's BK. My mom's BK.
And that's
Barbara Kilty.
That's an old school name, Barbara.
Barbara,
Brenda, Loris.
Well, my name is spelled totally different, so people it just like kills people. Like how do you spell it? Like how do you say it?
Aryn.
In.
Ah.
So you just throw an A on the end of it, and it's Karina.
Nice.
Katarina.
Not Katarina.
Okay.
Karina.
It sounded good. Okay. So I'm gonna do my opening.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
All right.
Hello and welcome to the Stay Healthy Experience. I am Robert Ferguson, and soon I'll be joined with my co-host, Ms. Barbara Chris. We call her BK. And today we have a special in-studio guest. I'm going to say a long-term friend, someone who is living the diet-free life. And we're going to kind of do a sneak peek and give people an opportunity to kind of hear what it's like when you embrace it and you move to a place where you live it. We'll get that started right now. So how was that for an opening?
That's perfect.
You're
good.
I'm getting better.
One take every time. He's like 3 in a row right now.
I'm like, I'm just going to be quiet until you point to me.
Okay, so today, Barbara, on this show, we're going to talk about nutrition. We're going to talk about health. We're going to talk about the diet-free life methodology.
Awesome.
And fortunately, we are lucky to have one of my clients in here who's lived it and has seen it over a long period of time.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end of the show, we're going to toss to an interview that you and I did with one of your clients who had very good success also with the diet-free life methodology. But the main goal is to kind of just give people a glimpse because, Karen, as you know, it sounds sometimes too good to be true.
Absolutely.
Right? So when it comes to being able to not just lose weight, but improve overall health and optimize energy throughout the day.
Yep.
And I'm so thankful that when I put it out there, the timing was good for you to kind of come on board, and here we are.
Yeah.
And I promise not to mention your starting weight.
Thank
day will come where you're going to probably share it with people because people won't believe you
Well,
unless
true.
you tell them where you come from.
Yeah.
True.
And sometimes they won't believe that until you show them a photo.
Right.
Absolutely.
They want to see it.
And guess what? And they still won't believe you. I learned years ago after reading the Bible when they saw Jesus walk on water
Mm.
and they still didn't believe him. I mean, what would it take? Right? It's like, Bart, if I floated and I said, I want you to believe,
Yeah.
and you saw me float.
You do that though sometimes already. I see it.
But that would that be like considered disbelief in that moment of like you just can't believe what you're seeing?
This is denial. It's just straight
Or denial. Straight
Yeah.
up denial.
Would it be?
I don't know.
Because seeing is not always believing.
Sometimes it
Well-
just tricks your brain. Like you don't even
You
like
think-
realize what you're seeing sometimes. So
think
your
you've
brain
gone
connecting
crazy.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember that song?
It
It wasn't me.
Yes, I do know that one.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna sing it for you though.
Okay.
Shaggy. Is that Shaggy?
That's it.
Yeah. We're not
It
gonna
wasn't
sing
me.
it right now
Right.
And then remember the Rodney King beatings?
Ugh.
They were like, "No, we didn't hit him that many times, dude. We got video."
That didn't happen.
Yeah. I know.
But, it
And
did.
but although I would say I would like to know or see your before photos too. I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we did some reminiscing, but seriously, like, what is the thing that you would want people to know that you have discovered with the way you're eating and taking care of yourself? Like, what is that one thing that you could share that you know people would love if they had the opportunity to experience it?
Well, just the way I feel, like the general, I mean, just this past year has been horrible, like for everybody being home and just that loss of energy and, being in that survival mode of taking care of your family. And just, for me, I just wasn't even thinking about myself. And then I just got to that point where I was just tired all the time, like just sluggish. I felt horrible. Like my gut felt horrible. And then to just embrace this and to eat the diversity of foods and just to switch it up all the time and not get into that routine of that monotonous, like eating the same thing every day. Like that has just opened up a world for me. Like I don't like to eat the same thing every day. I'm not one of those people that's like, here it is, the same thing every day. Like my children are like that, but I'm not. And so that has been like the game changer for me, is that diversity in food and the simplicity of putting things together. If you get your protein and then you work from there, that has just been the biggest thing. And I feel like that people can just grasp onto that. It's not hard. Like I don't like count my calories. I mean, I know like the rule, kind of the rules, the guidelines, and stay within those, but I write down my food every day, but I don't write down like that's this many calories and this. I just, for me to see it and be accountable. This is what I ate today. I just want to be accountable for myself, but it's so simple and easy. And I feel so good. Like my stomach, like my gut feels so much better, like all the time. And that's a weird feeling for me, like to not, like I wake up and I think, maybe I don't feel like great or whatever when I get up in the morning, but I'm like, my stomach feels great. I feel great. Like, let's go. So I can regain that energy. So, and I work in a really high stress, lot of responsibility job. Not to
that's
mention
the
a
thing
full-time
I'm sitting
mom.
over here thinking,
So-
going, okay, so Barbara, it's good to know
Right.
that she has a very demanding job.
Right. I know. So I wanted to kind of like butt in there with some questions because I know that, before we started rolling, I was asking Karen a little bit about how long she's known you. And it's been a long time.
14 years. So 2006 is, probably before then. So you were at the Total Woman gym and you did kickboxing. I used to take your kickboxing classes.
Oh,
and then you guys did the 9-week challenge or
see,
8
the
or 9
more
week
you
challenge.
talk, the more I'm remembering you.
Mm-hmm.
And
So
you had rhythm, actually.
a little bit. Yeah. I
When I was telling
I
Barbara
love
once,
kickboxing.
when I used to teach that class, at one point, I mean, that was a good class.
That was a great class.
I used to have this woman that would come and go right to the front. And when everyone went right, she went left. But in her mind,
She had it.
She was getting down.
She had it. She
Who cares?
cares.
Down.
And who cares at the end of the day? She was moving.
I actually cared.
I actually care.
We should make you look bad.
Well, remember what
I
I
love
said?
that
I
class,
literally had to I came up with a way to get her to think I was complimenting her.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, hey, look, you're great. So I always have people over in that corner that need a little help. And if you wouldn't mind, like if you were over there, it would make everything smoother. She's like, oh, got it.
That's an awesome reverse psychology move.
Yes, it was.
You found that came in really well with parenting.
Yes.
How to get your children to do something that they don't want to do.
Until they
So.
pick it up and then they use it on you.
Exactly. And then you're like, wait, what just happened?
Yeah.
But with a busy, crazy schedule.
Yeah, back to that.
I do have a busy
You're
schedule.
able to make it work. Because a lot of times people won't begin the journey of losing weight or eating healthier because they feel like it won't fit their schedule.
Absolutely.
It totally fits your schedule. I work like 16 hours a day. So from the time I get up till the time I go to bed is about a 16-hour day, just with the whole having to homeschool the littles and, lunches and dogs and kids and then taking phone calls in between. And I work in an administrative role, so I have more responsibility than other people. And so I constantly take phone calls and email all day long. And sometimes I stay up way late into the evening to get all my paperwork done because I don't necessarily get it done during the day. So it definitely, it fits, it just fits into my lifestyle, but it's a conscious choice. Like you have to choose every morning to get up and make good choices.
Right.
They're not hard choices to make, but you have to choose that. Like you have to choose to live this way. It's very easy to give yourself permission. And I talk to Robert about this all the time. It's like, I don't like to give myself permission to do certain things. Like if I start to give myself permission and then I start to stray, like maybe.
Oh, it's like a slippery slope.
Yeah. So like, oh yeah, it's, and we can eat things that we want to eat. But like if I knowing myself, and that's important, you need to know who you are. So sweets are like my biggest thing. And so if I start to give myself permission every day to have something sweet, although it fits in, it's still, I can watch those numbers. I don't get the results I want. And so I know. And then all of a sudden I'm craving sweets and like I want them more and more. And then I find myself like totally derailed and off in the bushes.
I could totally relate to that, even with me.
Yeah.
Same way. But you made a good point about how every morning you make this, it's a choice that you make. Do you feel like, can you put your finger on, was there a transitional period for you where you went from thinking that, it was kind of a hard choice to make to now it's more natural? Because I have clients who oftentimes think that having to be mindful and make that choice, for them, it's almost, I think, especially early on, they feel that it's more, they're almost like they're missing out on something. Like they can't see the long-term results of making those mindful choices in the moment.
Right? I don't, and I know you're supposed to make goals and stuff. I don't think too long-term, like I don't want to think that because that for me seems so far away. I'm in the moment right now. What are we doing this week? And so it's just one day at a time. And it's the self-talk. You have to talk to yourself, but you have to choose because you're accountable. So, everybody's a little bit different, but there's no, and I've heard you talk before, like there's no right time. Just do it.
Right.
Just do it today and start in baby steps and work it into your routine and get into it. And don't beat yourself up every day. If you have a bad day, get back up tomorrow and have a better day.
Exactly. And I have to say, you probably experience the same thing too, where you have clients, and maybe you've heard of other people too, they keep putting it off. And the only thing when they finally do get started, the only thing they regret is that they think, I wish I would have started, 6 months ago when I was just thinking about this. Like, it didn't get any easier starting now.
With any procrastination. When you procrastinate something you have to do, the minute you do it, you're like, why didn't I just do that before? Like, I feel so much better now. Just knowing you'll feel so much better.
But the ongoing challenge is that they don't know that it could be experienced the way you're experiencing. Right? So like this morning I was watching, I watch YouTube a lot. And oftentimes I like to hear other people in the space of weight loss, doctors, people, nutritionists, and I like to listen to them. And they guide people to total restriction and deprivation. And it's almost like you got to get yourself wired up to begin this diet because you're going to be avoiding a lot of things.
Yeah, it is. It's all in the mindset because I've lived like that.
Right. And
that's like probably one of the most detrimental things I've probably ever done to myself is just not eating. Like how horrible it is for your body. And I've probably done like long-term damage where like I've had to really rehone my eating and watch what I eat and make these adjustments along the way and watch. But like I've done all of those things and they make it worse on the other end if you don't, maintain it. Yeah. So
okay, so let's talk about some of the fun things about how so I'm not giving your start weight, but you mind if I mention like around how much you've lost? Do you know how much you've lost?
25 as of today.
26.
Wow.
26.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Is today her
my
check-in?
my calculations were
Well,
wrong.
I think it's
thought
25 points.
yeah, it's almost
That's
26, but yeah, I
awesome.
hit 25. So this is the beginning of 12 weeks, I think, or this is my 12th week.
Yeah, you're moving into your 12th week.
Wow! Congratulations.
Thank you.
And we stopped doing her glucose a while back because it's
It
under
was
control.
yeah.
There is no resistance.
Okay.
So after a while, you don't even need to look at that.
Yeah.
So she
Right.
owns that marker. And then you're down 3 inches on your waist.
Ooh.
And your body fat is down.
Mhm.
Barbara, you will love this.
I gotta hear
6%.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
Impressive. That is a big
See,
number.
what happens is in our head, because we know what that number means.
Yeah.
We're like going, yeah.
Yeah, and how
whoa! But
and
you
how
talk
hard
to
is
the
to
average
move that?
person, they're like, okay, so all right, sounds good.
No, I know what a big deal it is. And so
Right.
before like COVID happened, I was doing CrossFit 2, 3, 4 times a
Ooh,
week.
look at you go.
And, you know, my muscles were definitely more developed. I mean, my weight was still closer to where like I started this journey. But after COVID happened and we stayed home, like my weight didn't fluctuate very much. I remember sitting on the couch going, you were saying like people are going to gain like 15 pounds during this. I was like, no way, no way. That's not going to happen. I'm not going to let that happen. And then I'm baking bread and doing all these things to like keep peace in the house. And because, you know, we don't know what was going on. And like, you want to keep, as a mom, you want to protect your kids. Well, you want to protect your kids from everything. You don't want them to be stressed. And so you just go into this like survival mode and comfort mode.
Yeah.
And that comfort mode just like continued for like a year. Anyways, it just, I lost my train of thought.
Well, you know
Oh,
what?
the 15.
Well, yeah. So,
well, thank good for that because
I did.
I'm glad they closed my pool. So I have an apartment in Ventura.
Yeah.
And so the pool was there. So the first month I was like, you know what? It's 11 o'clock. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. So I was going over. I was at the pool, making myself a little vodka. And I go buy a little wine for afternoon, go back to the jacuzzi.
And then they closed it on you.
And they closed it. Thank goodness. Because I would have just kept doing it.
You'd have been a raging alcoholic.
You know, it was
I remember I was going though because my body composition changed. I stopped working out.
Yeah.
And then my CrossFit gym never came back. Like they lost their business
Oh,
in it.
that
So
right?
I haven't been able to like, I haven't gone back to that.
A lot of
But
people.
while I didn't gain a ton of weight on the scale, my body composition changed though. Like my muscles, everything turned.
Yeah,
like
you can feel
turned
that,
into
right?
fat. Like, I mean,
Your clothes. You're like,
yeah,
wow.
I couldn't, that was the indicator. While the scale didn't change, my clothes didn't fit anymore. And that was like, okay, wait a second. And all my muscles basically like atrophied and it just converted into all these empty calories I was eating.
Right.
And it was bad. You know, I was giving myself permission to just eat whatever we wanted. And, 2, 3, 4 carbs, like fast carbs at a time. Like, hey, this is great. But that's where I was going with that, like where that 15 pounds, yes, but it was probably even more if you look at like the body composition as far as how things converted and I got to the point where I'm like, man, I can't even like get my pants buttoned. And I refused after I lost weight 3 years ago, like I refused to buy bigger pants.
Mm-hmm.
So the minute I couldn't button my pants anymore, I was like, I'm going to call Robert.
That's a horrible feeling when you can't wear a pair of pants.
Yeah, it is. It's.
I bet people listening to this, so many people are going to relate to that because they're probably thinking if they don't really understand body composition and they're looking at their scale and they're thinking, God, I've only gained, or maybe I haven't gained anything. But why is it that my clothes aren't fitting anymore? What's up?
That
they're not even realizing that their body composition.
Fat takes up so much space in your body. People are like fat, muscle weighs more than fat. No, it doesn't. Like it takes up more volume, but 1 pound is 1 pound on the scale, but it's how much area that fat takes up
the volume
is much bigger. So
that was such an insightful thing to share because I think a lot of people are thinking, oh damn,
became best friends with my stretchy pants.
Right.
But even then, like those were getting tight. I'm like, okay, when your workout pants are tight, like it is time to do something. And then you ran the program for the 4, 5, 6, and I was like, I'm gonna do that. And that has been a game changer for me. Just working with you and that accountability. That's been a game changer for me. Like I so suggest that to anyone. Like just knowing we're going to talk every week. Like you don't even know how many times I'm like, I gotta talk to Robert later on, so I better not eat that. Like that, it just helps me to be accountable.
Yeah.
You know, and what I do, I keep kids accountable. Like, and it's the same thing with adults. If we have someone to be accountable for and to answer to, and like have to talk about our, you know, what we're going through, it helps me so much.
Well,
So
let me ask you this: when you meet someone, so imagine you see Barbara on a bus and you don't know her, and the bus is held up, and you're gonna end up talking for 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And Barbara mentions, "Yeah, hey, man, I gotta lose some weight. I'm gonna go and do this program." And you're like, "Hey, let me tell you what I just recently did." How would you describe the methodology, the Diet for Life methodology, to someone that you don't know?
Basically, you know, it's a lifestyle change, you know, but it's not a diet. You know, it's just a way of combining your foods together in a way that makes your body work, you know, and burn fat. So, and then I would tell them about, you know, the different combinations of the food that you can eat and how simple it is. And it's not even about all this prepackaged food or anything like that. It's just the foods that you eat every day, but it's the combinations that you eat them in, and then the portions that you eat.
So what do you mean when you say like?
So I build
lifestyle change. What is that? Because that would scare some people, right? So it used to be, at least in the infomercial world, they would never say lifestyle change because they were like, people wouldn't buy.
Mm-hmm.
But today, that the world that we live in, I feel that people are more open to that because they're looking for transparency.
Yeah.
So would you guys both agree that it would be okay to say lifestyle change, or do you think that could scare some people off?
Well, I think it's the truth, and I think it needs to be said.
Yeah.
Like, whether people get scared or not, like they need to understand that you have, in order to maintain and live and be healthy, you want it to range over your lifetime.
Yeah.
So you need to change some of those things. Maybe you're not changing your lifestyle and like what you do as a job and the things you do as hobbies, but like your eating lifestyle needs to, you know.
Yeah, okay, I think I get it now.
Yeah,
so I don't have to give up my Mercedes and
no, just your eating lifestyle.
I was really thinking you were going to say something.
What do you think I was going to say?
I don't know, but you know, it's a good point because I would have to say, I'll just think of like this past year of all the new clients that I've signed, hands down, they've all done some kind of diet at one point or another. And they will all, one of the first things that they say is, I need a way to learn how to eat food. I need a new lifestyle because whatever I did in the past, whatever diet or thing they did, I wasn't able to keep it up. Or I got results and then I have since put on all that weight back. Yeah. Or they just said they tried it. I had a couple people who tried other diets and, you know, a couple weeks in, they're like, hell no. They just couldn't.
You can't.
I've
tried them all. They're like exhausting. They're exhausting. I mean, just the constant, like, you have to think about, like, does this go with this? And like, and it's exhausting. I don't have time for that. Like, as busy as my life is, I don't have time to think.
It's almost like they had to experience it themselves, almost like the fact that it wouldn't last.
Yeah.
In order for them to actually realize I need a lifestyle. It was, I don't believe, and I could be wrong, but I don't believe that without going through any kind of, you know, turmoil with weight, that they went straight to lifestyle. You know what I mean? I think at some point they were maybe thinking that there was a quick way or a quicker way to do it and then just keep it off. They didn't have to really change maybe some of the things that they were doing with their food. And then now that they kind of went through some of that experience and realized it didn't stick, and I guess it's true that it's more of a lifestyle. It's almost like they have to go through that first.
Well, you know, it's so tough because, and I hear exactly what you're saying. You guys are both making great points. And I know it's resonating with some people. But there's so much clutter. There's so much information out there that you don't know what you're looking for. It's kind of like if you think of slavery, right? When Harriet Tubman went back to those people that were enslaved, and she said, "Hey, there's freedom. I can take you guys to freedom." They couldn't get what she was saying because they never seen freedom.
Yeah.
So how can you really talk about or sell something to someone where they can't even conceptualize what that potentially could be? You know what I mean?
If you don't know, you don't know, you don't know.
Right. So like when you did a challenge back in the day, then you kind of tiptoed into it. Yeah. It's like, hey, that worked. It kind of made sense. So you were kind of pre-prepared. to do it. But then someone who doesn't have any idea, then they're like, I just luckily tapped into it. Because how would they know what to look for? You know?
Yeah, it is. It's hard to filter, and we live in a society where like we just want results quickly.
Yeah.
And so, and advertising and all that kind of stuff sucks people in, and they think, well, geez, like you look at all those before and after pictures, and you're like, oh my gosh, that could be me, you know, and you just get sucked into it, but you have no idea that, you know, that's not like maybe a real picture, or it's photoshopped, or, you know, like, or that's just a one-off situation, or that person actually did something totally different, but they're using their picture for this, you know, advertising campaign. There's so much behind all of that for me, this is just like the simplicity of it. It's just real, but it is. I mean, you have to experience it for yourself. You have to choose to experience it. So,
all right. So I got a question for both of you guys.
Okay.
And you've heard me talk about this. I don't know if you have, but at one point when I was taking the program that you once did with the challenge, and we were starting to work with insurance companies, when they did an evaluation of the methodology, it was rated at 16th grade reading level. So they said, Robert, if you want to go national, you need to get it down to 4th grade reading level. So you have to really simplify this thing.
Oh, absolutely.
And if I went to 6th grade, I could be in all the states except for Arkansas, by the way. So Arkansas was the only state that you had to have it down to 4th grade reading level.
Okay.
So this is not a dig or beat up on Arkansas. Just saying.
No, but
that's just what
it's a reflection of the education level.
Yes.
At the national level, like across the board, when they look at averages and things like that.
Right.
Wow.
And so as we began the work of doing that, and then there's a program in Word that helps you kind of like get your sentences down to where
a real simple.
Yeah, and then you have to show proof that you did all of that. So as I'm doing all of that, we then took the program and I called 2 teachers that live in Ventura County who they were successful with Diet Free Life, the method. And I said, hey, can I come and do a presentation for your 1st graders? So we got 60 1st graders, and I went and did a presentation on how to make a fat-burning meal, how to combine the foods in the right proportion. In 45 minutes, all of the kids, it was pass or fail, they all passed.
Wow.
Then the teachers got invited to come in. I did the exact same presentation. I didn't cut any corners. If you were there, I mean, I did it exactly the same. Same mannerisms, same punchlines, everything was the same, and less than 50% of them passed.
I know why.
That's why you're an educator. I want to hear why.
Because they already have all their preset ideas and things that they came with. And teachers are the worst people to teach to, for one. And I can say that because I've been a teacher for 20 years. So like the worst crowd, like, because we know everything. No, I'm just kidding. We don't know everything. But they talk a lot. You know, you go to a conference and teachers are always teaching. Like presenting to teachers is not easy. But they came with all they're adults. They came with all their preset ideas of things that they've done and everything and all the knowledge that they've got along the way, whether it was incorrect or not. And little kids are innocent. You know, they come in and they like sponge. They are sponges and they absorb everything you say as fact. Like you're saying it, you're an adult. Like, oh, it must be right. You know, like it's correct. So, but then they don't have all these preconceived ideas either. So you're teaching to a clean slate versus a slate that's overly used.
Like you said, there's so much out there. There's so much information. And I think a lot of people have a little bit of all this different kind of information. And so then if you're teaching them about the methodology and then they're in their head, rather than listening, they're trying to be like, well, how is that wrong? Trying to figure out what you're saying is wrong.
Oh, yeah, because it becomes more of an overcoming objections the entire time.
As opposed to learning, they're thinking of, well, that's not what I know. You're not telling me what I know already. So it's not matching.
So it was like a couple of things that come to mind when you were saying that was, I'll never forget. I go, so oatmeal is a fast carb, and cream of wheat is a fast carb, malted is a fast carb, grits is a fast carb. And one lady goes, no. So you're telling me oatmeal's a fast carb? And I said, yes, ma'am. I said, all hot cereal and cold cereal are fast carbs.
Yeah.
She goes, nah.
Oh my gosh.
She goes, no, that would be slow. That's like slow. You know, I do original still cut. She went into this whole thing and I go, ma'am, fast carb doesn't mean it's bad.
Right.
It's just a fast carb. So that's where it was harder to teach that group because I kept getting interrupted like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So every time I would go over something, I say carrots are a slow carb. Oh no, carrots are high in sugar, ma'am. I mean,
but then you can't. But then everybody else is listening to her, so
Right,
it's like they're derailing. It's like when you're in court and someone says something and they say overruled, like sit down and be quiet, but it's already out. Like everybody heard it already, you know, and it starts to change your thinking.
You can't pull that back once you
No, I do a thing with kids about like, you know, bullying and the words that you say, and I give groups of kids like toothpaste and on a plate, and I tell them like, you know, squeeze a little bit out, and then like, okay, squeeze some more out, and then like we squeeze all it. Now squeeze it all out on the plate. Now put it back in the, you know, like, and now put it back in the tube, and they look at you like, you can't put it back in the tube. Well, you can't take back what you say out loud to people.
Ooh.
You know, you have to be careful. You can't take it back. If you can't put that toothpaste back in, you can't put your words back in your mouth.
All right, Joyce.
You can't undo those. So that's a fun one. You can do that with teachers too. It's really fun. Like it's a good, like just a fun activity, but it's a good one because I mean the reality is, unless you have a special machine, you can't. That toothpaste ain't going back in that tube.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I called you Joyce Meyer. You know who that Joyce Meyer is?
And not off the top of my head.
She's a very empowering evangelist.
Oh, okay.
And she's based in Missouri, and she always has great words of wisdom and analogies and metaphors like that. And so you made me think of her.
Oh, awesome.
I like that.
Awesome.
I'm gonna use that with my kids this weekend.
That's actually
you should just do it with them. Get a tube of toothpaste. Give them each
now put it back in.
Now put it on the now squirt a little bit out, like, and just do it a little bit at a time, and then go. Now squirt it all out on the plate.
So that's all that disrespect that you give me.
That's right.
Try to put that back.
Words. And it's true though. It is true. Those words that you say to people, and words can hurt so much more.
Well, you're so optimistic. So to give you an example, like one, I don't coach anyone that I don't look forward to talking to.
Perfect.
Right. That's very important.
It is
at this age of my life. Like, you know,
why do you want to fight with people?
I gotta have fun.
Yeah.
And it's nice when, you know, so she's the kind of client in person that I look forward to down. Because you're always upbeat and you can't pretend every week. So it's got to be real. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of people who are pretending.
Right.
They put on the happy face.
Oh, to be upbeat.
But they're just miserable. Which is okay because we can work with that.
Right.
But I just love the energy that you bring to the table and how it's just lifting. So thank you for being a lifting type of person.
Thank you.
Right.
I look forward to our talks.
I'm around Barbara a lot.
And I just bring him down.
You just bring him down. Bring him down. But you know, you have to be happy. You have to, you know, make the best out of this life. I mean, I share with you what I do, and it's hard, but you have to rise above it. You can't let it, you know, bring you down. So, you know, you got to make the best out of. You only get to live one life.
And that's a good point because I think that sometimes with health, or let's say with weight loss, oftentimes I think people believe that they have to be perfect in order to succeed. Yeah. And what would you say to someone who's thinking that way, as far as focusing on being perfect, or having that mindset of having to have everything done perfectly in order to get results? And when they don't, obviously there's no way they're going to be perfect, right?
There's no such thing as perfection.
So
you can't be perfect. But you have to learn how your body responds to things. My body is not going to work the same way as your body is, or yours. Like, we're not going to respond the same way. And just like we've been working through like the combinations and like getting, you know, try not to avoid fast carbs in the evening. And that's made a huge difference for me. Well, I didn't want to hear that. It's made a huge difference for me, and I have to look at that. But you have to just get up every day and just make those choices and know, like, you're not perfect. Some days are not as good as others. And some weeks your results won't be what you want them to be. But that's a good time to look at, why aren't they where you want them to be? Are you stressed out? Like, did you eat your portions of food correctly? Did you eat? Did you drink your water? Did you move? Like, and so for me, when my numbers aren't where I want them to be, I have to look back and go, okay, what do I need to improve on? And then if I can't find it, then I can ask Robert, well, what do you think I need to do? Because, and that's why I'm working with Robert, because I need that. Because otherwise in the past, I would just be like, okay, keep trying. Then if I get discouraged, and then I'll just like let life take take me away. But there's no such thing as really being perfect. You know, we're imperfect beings. So To expect to be perfect is
I'm glad you shared
wrong
that.
expectation.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people think that if they do run into, let's say, a week or even a couple weeks of progress, and I think, God, it's not moving, it's not doing what I want it to do, or my body's not responding the way I wish it would. Rather than just giving up and, like you said, just kind of letting life take over, you're saying, I'm looking at, okay, well, what can I do to get it, back on track, or to tighten some things up? How did I eat? Did I eat? Am I drinking my water? Am I stressed, or whatever it may be? I think that's the difference, where people can sustain those types of results and then keep progressing, as opposed to just like.
And my goal is just to like slow and steady. Like I want this for the long term. And so for me, if I was like, it was instantaneous and I got it all like right in the beginning, it would be really hard to maintain for the long haul. So I just want it slow and steady. It took a while to put it on, can take a while to take it off to make it permanent. So, and I want it to be the right weight that's coming off.
Like, have you guys ever seen someone get liposuction done?
I've only seen it like bits and pieces on TV.
No, I don't know anybody personally that I've seen.
So years ago, I did a TV show in Europe, and it was called Your Best Youve or something like that. It was a great title. And what happened in the show is they flew in these women from the UK, and they went to Beverly Hills, and they worked with the best cosmetic surgeons. And a lot of these guys are still on TV. I see them all the time. And they brought me as the nutrition and fitness guy. So prior to them getting their work done, and then afterward, I was there to help the recovery, right? So I got to know these ladies really well, right? Because I'm eating with them. The surgeon comes in, does his work, and leaves. And so I got to go in on some of the surgeries. Whoa. So, they did it. I saw a tummy tuck, and I'm not the guy that can be around the medical stuff. Like, I just don't do well with that, right? When my first daughter was born, I was like, they told me to sit down. The nurse said,
they're gonna scrape you off the floor.
Oh yeah, but I was
dad down.
I was as wide as this desk.
Weak in the knees.
Oh, like really weak. And it is what it is.
And you can't change who you are.
Yeah, I didn't pass out, but I did have to sit down. Well, I went in, and the one that threw me off, I saw a cranial. I saw some really nasty stuff, right? But the thing that threw me off the most was the liposuction. I think about it now, it freaks me out. And the reason I'm bringing it up, because it goes to what comment you made, is that people want it now. And years go by, and I was teaching kickboxing at Channel Islands in Port Hueneme area. And this lady goes to get lipo. And I watch her, I've seen her, she's come to class here and there, but she didn't really like to work out. So she was fed up, so she went and got lipo. And she wasn't really heavy. I would say maybe had 30 pounds she could probably lose, right? So she gets lipo, and I remember seeing her in the gym like 6 weeks later. She's walking around, she's feeling good, right? She's feeling good. And then about 3 months goes by, and I see her again, and I start to see her body it was really weird, odd.
What do you mean?
It took on a different shape.
Yeah.
I started seeing fat deposits, like in certain areas of her body that weren't there before.
Oh. Ooh.
And that's because her lifestyle didn't support the work she had done.
Right.
And so then it got worse, right? Because now she's fighting to fix that, and she never got any of it fixed. And the only outcome that made sense was to just gain some weight so she would look somewhat normal, and hope that she gained the weight in the areas that won't make her look odd.
Oh, right. Like to almost backfill evenly, but.
Right.
Ooh.
So imagine, you do that and you get a pocket of fat that pushes off to the side. And so you got a pocket that's sticking off your hip.
Oh.
Because you're not in charge of where it's going to come back.
You're not.
Right?
You're not. Absolutely.
And it's that example of going for the shortcut, right? Short-term gain, but then experiencing long-term pain.
Yeah.
Or discomfort.
That's
so I
true.
love the slow and steady, the tortoise approach.
Yeah, I always tell them that. I'm like the tortoise in the hare.
And
I'm
that's
just
great.
the tortoise.
That is a great place to
When
be.
in high school, I was a long distance swimmer because I wasn't a fast swimmer at all. I've never just been like a fast athlete. So I always swam the long distance because I can just endure, and my race was 20 laps. was 500 yards. Like
So
that
the
was
ones
my
that jump
race.
out in front. You're
Yeah,
like,
no, it was
I'll
just
see-
a long.
I'll see you.
It was a long, slow and steady race. You just
Yeah.
had to like slow and steady, 20 laps.
It wins.
That was my event that I swam in high school. So I'm not a sprinter, not a big runner. I was cracking up when I watched an interview of you the other day and you said you hated cardio.
Oh,
my gosh, I was
still
dying.
hate it.
I'm like, I totally can
Yeah.
relate, but I like the results.
Yeah.
You like the results and you feel so much better. But
I
It's
did
that
it this morning.
choice.
Did you do it this morning?
I did. In fact, for the 50 minutes, and I was thinking the same damn thing. I was like, man, this is a long damn time. But I did it.
Good
I
for
did
you.
it. I did it on the Stairmaster. this
Yeah.
Good for you.
morning. I was
Damn
not
it.
happy about it.
And I kept looking at the clock. I was like, still?
It's only been 2 minutes.
But when it started ticking, getting up 48, 49, 50, I was like, whoa.
I could do it.
Made it.
I could do it.
Yes.
That's self-talk, right?
Yeah,
One
so-
more minute. One more minute.
So we
2
have
more
to look at it
minutes.
too. Like we
Yeah.
do. It's
Oh,
a
yeah.
it's a choice.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You have to choose to maintain
Mhm.
what you do. It's not like you just get to get up every day and do whatever you
Oh,
want.
like I'm like, yay, yay, cardio.
yeah.
No, it's not
So,
that.
so share with those who are listening and with us the foods that you have been able to eat as you continue to lose weight and feel great.
Well, I love sushi, so I eat sushi like once a week. So that's like one of my favorites. So I definitely eat sushi, and I eat all kinds of meat, fish, chicken, pork, whatever. Variety of vegetables. I usually look at like what haven't I eaten in a while when I go to the store and I try and bring that home. Like, haven't had a grapefruit this week? I'm bringing a grapefruit home. And so just
You're like, she's perfect, huh?
everything.
I mean,
like
seriously, like you're saying all the things that we are always encouraging people to do.
Yeah.
it's so freeing to just go to the grocery store and just, okay, well, I'm going to have this. And I even I found these Greek yogurt, like frozen bars I told you about, like they're 100 calories. They're super yummy.
I think
The yasso, I think it's like
Yes.
yasso or
I
something.
have a client in New York that loves those.
They're so good.
Yeah.
So good. And it's
Yasso?
just,
Mhm.
yeah, the yasso. I sent you a picture of it.
Okay.
But they're great. 100 calories, like perfect. Like a perfect little sweet snack, like without it being, but I mean, on my boost meal days, like I'll have cake or cheesecake and have a burger. And I make those the fun ones where I, kind of mix it
Yeah.
up a little bit, but I eat everything. Like I don't eat tomatoes. So I know I wish I did. Like I always laugh when you're like, please don't make comments. Like if you don't eat this kind of stuff, it cracks me up. Cause why you gotta get your 2 cents? You don't eat it. Who cares? Like,
Exactly.
but my husband, he's always done. Like you should just eat tomatoes. I don't like them. Like who cares? Like I eat all these other foods and I grew up on a farm, meat and potatoes. Like mom made casseroles. Like very limited, and so my food has grown so much since I was a kid. But just the variety, and I mean, I love sourdough toast and rice and quinoa, and I'm not super creative when I cook. Like I don't mind just having the simple, here's my salmon and my veggies and my quinoa or whatever. I don't have to have these elaborate meals, but I'll make chicken fajitas and have beans and stuff with it. And sometimes I'll have a tortilla and sometimes I won't, but
So what do you guys think of people who are quick to interject? Like, for instance, let's say that you're talking to someone and you go,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, I had a great meal last night. I had chicken, asparagus, and some quinoa. And they go, yeah, I don't eat quinoa. That's
perfect. Have some rice.
But you know what I mean?
Don't
Yeah.
eat it.
Yeah, you have people going, yeah, see, that wouldn't work for me.
Yes, I have.
Because I don't eat that.
All right. Or right when you just say a certain meat, chicken. Well, I don't do that.
I don't eat red meat.
No one says
Don't
you
eat red
have-
meat then.
Yeah.
That's what I tell people. Like when they tell me stuff like that, I'm like, then don't eat it. Find
Yeah.
something else. Like you're missing the point. It's just a protein. Like
Right.
pick your own protein then. That's the beauty of this program is who cares what protein you eat? Just
Yes.
pick a protein.
But there's a mindset.
Mhm.
It says a lot about where that person is,
Yeah.
right? Because
Yeah.
they're quick. They're working hard to talk themselves out of
Absolutely.
possibly doing something like this.
True.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
they're only going to see what they don't like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
That's
that's where I
true.
get to the point where you're just like, I'm not here to convince you.
You're
about
not ready.
anything.
You're
Yeah,
not ready
exactly.
to be here. So come back when you're ready. I mean,
Yeah,
because you can't choose for them. You can't make somebody, especially over the phone,
Mhm.
you can't force a grown person to do what you want them to do. They have to choose. You have to choose. And it's challenging some days. Like I'm like, what's in the fridge? Okay. And pull some stuff together. But some days you don't feel creative and you don't feel like, you want to do it. But at the end of the day, like, okay, well, here's 2 turkey sausages and an sourdough English muffin. I'm out the door. Right. Like, I did it,
Right.
Same.
Yeah. It wasn't pretty, but I'm out the door. I mean, I don't post my food all the time because it's not pretty, but it did the job.
Yeah, sometimes like, wow, this isn't the prettiest meal, but hey, like, exactly, it hits all the categories, and I'm good.
But I've had to change my relationship with food. So my mom always fed us like it was just like a comfort, and food's always been like the center of everything. Like, she always entertained, and there was always food, and we always had people over, and I've had to change like some of my relationship with food, because that's how we celebrate. Like, we're just gonna party it up, and we're just gonna eat till we can't, or we're gonna go out to a really nice dinner and we're gonna splurge. And so again, I've had enough of those, and there's a time and a place for those, some of those special occasions once in a while. Like, I won't ever just say I'm never going to have a meal like that or overeat. I may down the road, but to get back on to how I know to eat right is, I can do that.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's food has been the center of my whole life as far as like we're having a great old time. We're we're just eating everything. This is great, so you gotta, you have to evaluate like what's important too.
Mm-hmm.
You want to feel good or you not want to feel good. So
yeah,
or you can still have like some of those things like in smaller portions and different combinations. So, and you have to make your choice. Like, okay, am I going to have the macaroni? Am I going to have the pasta? Like,
exactly.
One of them.
So yeah,
in that moment.
So it sounds familiar because my mom's Italian, my dad's Filipino. Mm-hmm. We get these family gatherings. The food's out, and it's just there's a ton of food, and it's out for hours and hours and hours. And it would be really easy to just
eat all
through everything. And yeah, there's been an adjustment as far as okay, well, I know that if I'm going to have my meal this time, sure as hell going to be food around, in 2.5, 3 hours later, I can have a snack or maybe another meal, just depending on how the day falls. And really, it's just a slight shift in how you're thinking about it. It's like, it's not that I can't enjoy going to my mom and dad's, like I can't go, but it's just like you said, it's a little bit of an adjustment on how I'm going to just enjoy my food that day.
Yeah. Definitely
so
just a shift in mindset.
Education, right? Because you're both educated.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel that education is, because a lot of people aren't talking the way you guys are talking.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like the way you're explaining it and being in control, I can go there. I know how to like map it out. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I can pace myself, and you're mindful of that.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of people, they're like, oh, see, I can never do that. Oh, I can't imagine going there and not eating the mac and cheese with the mashed potatoes, with the bread and the fried fish. And, I want those yams with the sugar sprinkled all over them. Mm-hmm. And then I want that pudding. And you know what? I got to eat it all at the same time.
Well, they're right. If you start with I can't, you've already set yourself up.
Yeah. I don't think it has anything really to do with like the education level. I think it's almost like that mindset.
Mm-hmm.
They're just kind of going in, and maybe it's because they've had so much failure in the past that they're already just anticipating that there's no way they can do any differently than what they've already done.
Oh yeah, well you know that when they say, "Look, can I start on Monday?" Because they're like, "Okay, I know what I'm going to do Saturday and Sunday."
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like the last meal. I want to go have my last supper before I go into a deprivation. And I can't eat what I want.
I've been there so many times. So many times. Yeah.
I've had some of my most successful clients they had been so fed up. They started right around the holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas. And they impressed themselves that they were able to go through the holidays all the way through New Year and then beyond and lose weight and body fat. And they, like I said, they impressed themselves because they never would have guessed that they could do that. And so now they're like the biggest advocates for saying, like, exactly like you said, that there's no perfect time. Just start.
Just start.
Just start.
Wherever you're at. Mm-hmm. Just start. Start. And I follow the Facebook group, and I see people on there, and they're like, okay, there's my first meal. How'd I do? And part of me is like, oh, well, I want to tell them like what to do. And then part of me is like, well, that's not my job to tell them what to do. Like I don't want to criticize, but you see, there's like things like good for them. They started, but there's things that they should shift and change. And, and I'm sure they will but to criticize them out the gates doesn't help them,
Right.
So to criticize people along their journey and put them down doesn't help. But
See,
like
there's
to
that
encourage
positive
them,
attitude she has.
encourage them right where they're at. Great job! Like I see you got a protein in there and slow carb, but just remember that one still is a fast carb. Like that oatmeal, it's still a fast carb.
Yeah. No, oatmeal.
Oatmeal is not a fast carb.
She was telling me.
I remember I was in Mississippi and we were going through the Delta, and we went to this place for like home style buffet, and I'm in the line, and some of the other teachers, because it was a teaching event. I was a keynote speaker, and we had like all the superintendent, everybody was there.
Poor guy with all these teachers.
And so I'm in the line, and I'm explaining to someone how to make a fat burning meal. And I said, okay, so I want to, let me get that chicken. That's my protein. I'm talking to them, protein. And then, I am really craving a baked potato. Can I get that baked potato? That's a fast carb. And can I get some black-eyed peas? And I was like, yeah, black-eyed peas. Because I love some black-eyed peas.
Clearly.
And I said, and that's slow carb. And this black lady who was serving the food, she goes, I'm not, sweetheart. That is not a fast carb. And I said, excuse me? She goes, look, black-eyed peas are really high in starch. That's a fast carb. And I go, okay.
How are you gonna fight them right there in that moment? Sometimes you just gotta walk away.
Yeah, I mean, she got in my whole conversation. I'm like, how did you just jump in my conversation?
Here I am teaching people how to put food
You know
together
what I mean?
in the right combination.
So she was serving you.
Yeah, it's like, how you're going down, they say, what else would you like?
She's gonna be like this.
Probably. But I'll never forget that. I was like,
that is
okay.
So funny.
But people love to jump in and give their 2 cents, which is cool.
Mm-hmm.
And you pick your fights, right?
I always say like that's enough from the peanut gallery. Like you don't need to put your 2 cents in all the time. Like I don't need your 2. I tell my children that all the time. Enough from the peanut gallery. I don't need your 2 cents. I didn't ask for them.
Where's that toothpaste?
Yeah, where's that toothpaste?
Oh, I know. I like that.
So we have about 10 minutes. So I want to do some rapid fire with you.
Oh gosh.
So rapid fire.
I don't like quizzes. No.
Oatmeal.
I'm gonna fail this part.
So Barbara and I are going to ask you questions. And what I would love to do is ask questions where people can hear your answer, but they can learn from it.
Okay.
So my first question for you is, of all the days of eating breakfast, what is your go-to breakfast right now that's a fat-burning meal?
My go-to breakfast is scrambled eggs with probably mushrooms and onions in it, and then some turkey sausage on the side. And then if I feel like having a fast carb, then I'll have a sourdough English muffin, a little bit of jam on top.
Yummy.
That's like my go-to. Sometimes I have that for lunch because I'm like, I don't know what to make right now. I'm gonna have some eggs.
now it's interesting when you were saying that with the English muffin and the eggs and all of that.
God, I love
many
those
people are like,
English
wait a minute.
muffins.
I don't. That's a lot. How is she going to lose weight eating that much food?
Sometimes I'm hungry after I eat. My body sometimes is working so good that, like I've told you before, like an hour after I eat, I'm like, I'm hungry again. So
well, that's because of how you train.
Yeah.
You go for it. Like if you're doing CrossFit and hitting it the way she's hitting it, your metabolism is so revved up that hunger is a good sign also.
Yeah.
Especially after
you told me that. You're like, if you're hungry, that means your body's metabolizing the food and you're good to go.
Yeah.
So.
And your metabolic rate, which means the amount of calories you're burning, isn't down, it's actually up. And that is a very positive thing.
Keep drinking your water. Drinking your water.
Yeah. You've got would you say your pool?
Yeah, I got my swimming pool with me.
Yeah. So my question, okay. So this is good for a lot of, even some of my clients who might be listening in, but if you were to share something about how you shifted, let's say, your overall schedule throughout the day to make you more successful, what were some of those key changes that you did to your schedule that really helped you stay successful in the long run?
Honestly, I didn't really switch my schedule. I just fit into so when I get up in the morning and I have my coffee and get my kids going, and then I make my breakfast and then move on. And then I just make sure that because I write everything down too, it makes me accountable to those different times I eat during the day. So really, I mean, writing everything down, but scheduling it in, I haven't had to switch my schedule. I work from home. So really I just have to consciously remember, I need to eat. So I just have to make sure that I'm, in the beginning, I could set an alarm to tell me to eat at certain times, but Sometimes, like before, I would, I don't have time to eat lunch right now. But now I'm like, okay, what do I have time to eat? I have to eat. So what is make time for? What can I put in my stomach right now? So, but not really. I haven't had to shift my schedule
but it sounds
too
like
much.
Maybe you kind of created, like you had it written down, like as far as.
I write all my food down 3 times a day, plus my snacks, and I keep track of my water. So, and then if I work out that day, I track my workout. So I just have it like in just a journal. So yeah, I mean, tracking everything, but not super detailed. Like I told you, like I'm literally like chicken scratch sometimes, just like, I didn't get it written down today. It's like the end of the day or the next day. And I'm like, what did I eat yesterday? Because it's very diligent. Yes. Very consistent. Consistency is key. Like making sure that, journaling is probably the thing that I put in to place that, make that conscious. But
it's a good one.
I did not have to switch my schedule around as far as my lifestyle.
So as part of what you're doing, does a person have to journal?
No, not at all. I don't think so. I mean, if you can keep track of it in your mind and you're accountable, it helps me because when you write it on paper, like I'm less likely to sneak a couple things in there throughout the day that shouldn't be, in there, or like the timing wise, if it's not my snack time, like just snacking on the crust of my kid's bread as I'm cutting, like eating those extra things because I know I'm going to write it down. I don't want to write those down. Eat my children's crust from their bread. So I'm throwing them to the dog.
I bring that up because I have always been an advocate of journaling. It is so powerful.
It is very powerful, but you said, do you have to?
Right, no.
And you don't, but it's extremely powerful. I still have my journal from 14 years ago.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, and I used that 3 years ago when my husband and I went back to the diet-free lifestyle. I made copies of a couple of the extra pages, and I made each of us one where I wrote it all down. And so it's really detailed though. Like it has all the calories and everything. So I didn't do all that, but I had like proportions and wrote those things down.
Yeah.
And so, but I've used it into the future.
Oh yeah. I remember I had a client, Gloria Tracy. Not sure where she's at, but she was amazing. Gloria, I'll never forget. We were getting ready to do the first infomercial. And I said, hey, bring in your journals. So I'm thinking your journal. She came in, man. She had a box of journals.
Of all the journaling she's done?
Yeah, and she was a woman who used to be like a counselor for Jimmy Craig.
Okay.
She had done every diet you could possibly think of. And when she was in her late 60s, I'll never forget sitting in front of her. And she says, Robert, I don't even know why I'm here. And I go, like, why would you say that? She goes, well, you said something. She heard me do a talk in Camarillo. And she said, you were talking about how you can rev up or reset your metabolism. And I was like, tell me more. And Gloria became a very successful client, but her main thing that would be her success was journaling. She journaled like religiously.
Yep.
And I totally agree with that.
And some people have those apps and they like take the pictures of the food all day long and they use those. That doesn't fit my lifestyle. I can't even remember to take pictures sometimes when I'm supposed to send you my boost meal. I'm like, oh crud, I just ate that. I forgot to send that picture. Like that doesn't work for me, but it works for other people. And that's like a different type of, journaling and that accountability. So I think it's that accountability piece.
Okay. So I have one more question for you from my side. So is there anyone that comes to mind that you know well and they would enjoy doing what you've done, but you haven't asked them to do it?
Yeah, I mean, I've been talking to one of my talking slowly to I don't like to put things on people that aren't ready. So I've been sharing with one of my friends. Actually, she's one of my teachers. I've been sharing with her the simplicity and like that because she's super active and I think it would work really well for her. So she's not quite ready yet, but she's like, that we were on the phone last time. I'm like, and I don't see everybody all the time, so they haven't seen me. So some of my teachers haven't seen me in a while, and I haven't seen her. But I was telling her, and she was like, okay, Karen, and she's in her mid-50s, so I think I've got her like, right where she wants to hear a little bit more. But I'm not gonna be like, here you go, here's all this stuff you should read, and then my mother-in-law's right there, so I was just talking to her before I came over here today, so.
Now, you know Chris, right, who I had on the show?
Mm-mm.
He's the athletic director for Rio Mesa.
I don't know him personally.
Okay.
No, I saw his interview, but I don't know him.
I only ask because you're an educator. They're both in Ventura County.
Okay.
Yeah,
But,
I haven't been an educator here for a long time, and I was in Oxnard, so
Okay.
yeah.
The NARD.
Then I
Yeah.
Oxnard Unified
Well, I have
for
one.
7 years.
Yeah. That's right. Well, I have one more for you.
Sure.
So you had great success so far. So what you
Uh-huh.
say she was 26 pounds down.
Almost.
So what is your next goal, do you want to say? And what's next?
Well, my first goal is to get down 30 pounds. So I'm
So you're
getting
almost
really
there.
close. And so if I get down 30 pounds, I'll be where I was 3 years ago. My goal was 40 by 40. And
Nice.
so if I got a couple more to lose, and I'll be at my first goal. But I'm really gonna try for 50 pounds.
Wow, that's
So
awesome.
That's what I'm gonna try for. So that's where I'm working for. Or I'm not gonna try for. I'm gonna get to.
Exactly.
Yes.
She's giving me the stink eye
No,
over there.
no,
Like
right.
Well,
she's
because
using
that
that word "try" again. She always says "try" when we're on the phone,
Actually, you
but
don't
you're
say
doing.
try.
I
Right.
do. Like
Well,
I
you
always
always
tell you, I'm
correct it,
trying to, and then you're like, you're not trying. You
And
are doing it.
I
So
will put money on when your friends, especially your lady friends, or the other teachers, other administrators, they see you, they're gonna be like, "Girl, what are you doing?" Because I will share with you too. Even some of my clients have had some great success because they've been working. A lot of them have been working from home too,
Mhm.
and they finally go out to have these meetings with their groups, and these people come up to them and they're like, "What the hell are you doing? You look great. It's been a good thing,
yeah,
references to other clients because of, my existing clients' success. And so,
yeah,
you're great, it's what I'm looking for. Billboard for success. So,
thanks.
yeah.
Well, it's nice to see someone who appears to be better off after COVID than
Yeah.
to continue to run into people. You go, hey, and you're like,
Yeah.
wow, haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah. Well, that's where I was at when I called you.
Right.
I
mean,
was
and you
like,
see the
oh
face
my
too,
gosh,
it's
yeah.
like, they go, hey. I go, hey.
What was that? The face?
That look, you
The
go,
face got bigger?
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of,
Yeah.
I mean, I get it.
No.
It happens. We were all in survival mode, and it shows you like what you're willing to give up in order to, keep together emotionally. It was hard for people. Like people are going to be seriously traumatized. Like there's going to be PTSD from this.
Oh,
Like,
absolutely.
there's people that are terrified still to go out, and there's just
Yeah.
going to be a whole range. I mean, we've seen it with kids and teenagers, and like there's just a whole range. But when you're met with a crisis, we go into survival mode, and that's maybe not
sure.
always the best thing for us, and to know that we can come out of it and better ourselves, because that's where I was at, like looking at myself in the mirror, like, whose face is that? Like, and I already have a naturally round face. I've been called a Cabbage Patch Kid my whole life. Like naturally, like that's where my round face is. I've never had like a cut jaw or anything. So like, looking at myself in the mirror, I'm like, how many chips do I have? Like, and so it's eye opening. Like, how do I change that? And so,
I mean, you've shared with me some really, like, she's helped me a lot even with my kids, just having the chance to have a conversation.
Oh, nice.
And I totally agree with you about the PTSD, because the other day I was in the store and there's more people out.
For sure.
And some people are just right up on you, right? Whereas I would be okay.
It's a little
I
weird.
would be okay with them, like, but it made me feel uncomfortable. It's like I wanted to say,
back it up.
Can you back it up a little bit, right? Because it did. It was like, wow, this is like weird. Like,
you're not
give me
used to
some
it.
space.
Yeah.
And even with the cars, I'm just like, man, I actually like getting on the road and not having that much traffic.
That's for sure.
Ventura in general is just blown up since in the last 10, 15 years.
Especially for you, since
I live in like
here.
a small little town. Like,
yeah,
wave to your neighbors, like,
right.
So yeah, it is overwhelming to come back and visit and stuff. I'm like, oh my gosh, these people don't know how to drive. So I should have brought my big old truck and just
go over people,
run over them. Yeah.
What was that movie I watched with was it Crow, when he's in the car?
Oh, Russell Crowe.
Yeah, Russell Crowe.
Like
man.
something breakdown, or what was it?
You got to watch this.
When he has like a mental breakdown. I never watched it.
Oh, whoa! Like my kids, like when your kids aren't on their phone, and they're like, and we all were like, it was intense because he lost it. He had a bad day, And then this woman, had a bad day. And
They
he
had a
was
bad
like,
day together.
your day's not bad now. You need to apologize. And it all was that. It was rage, like road rage.
Yeah.
The whole movie is based on him losing his mind, and then this woman who he wanted to prove a lesson to.
Whoa.
Wow.
So just look it up, people. Russell Crowe. You can rent it. You can watch it. If you want to be entertained, then check it out. But thank you.
Isn't that indicative of his actual demeanor? Isn't he the guy that like had a fit with a phone in a hotel room?
Is that him?
Yeah.
Oh,
Was
yeah.
it him? Yeah.
So.
I think he has a bad temper, so maybe that was just a great role for him.
Well, it wouldn't be like Adam Sandler. Like I could see him losing it, but he's funny.
Oh,
yeah.
Right.
God, and he did have that funny movie. It was called Anger Management. Was it
that was hilarious.
Oh, Adam Sandler.
Yeah, he's really not.
I love
angry.
that movie.
I
watched the beginning, just the airport, like when they're in the plane.
the airplane.
Yeah, when they were like,
I would have it.
You need to like. He goes, I'm not yelling.
Oh my gosh, that would do me in too.
And
like
then the big black guy comes over. He goes, "Sir,
you need to
we have to take you off the plane." What you? And then they like
tase him.
Oh my God, he does such a good job with that movie. He's a funny guy.
Yeah, because you also had in that movie, amazing actor, Shining, goes to the Lakers games.
Jack Nicholson.
Nicholson. Remember, he plays the psychologist.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
He's like, yeah, you're angry.
Yeah, that's right.
Jack
You
Nicholson.
are angry.
But anyway, thank you for making time to come in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank
you
you
for
so much.
having me.
Yeah, it was so nice meeting you.
And it wasn't that difficult, was it?
No, it was totally fine.
Yeah, see, it's
It's
all
totally
good.
Yeah.
Any last words you would have for anyone who's, not like we're trying to twist anyone's arm to do diet-free life, but we are on a mission to get the word out, and that's to like encourage and help people. And the only way we can help them is if they come in the tent.
Yeah, today's the day. Make it today. This is the day. Don't wait. Don't wait to start, even if it has to be baby steps. Choose it now.
Right. Well, thank you, Karen. So
Very
now,
nice.
so we're gonna leave this moment, and we're gonna toss over to a little interview we did with Andrea.
Yes.
Andrea Schulman, right?
Yes.
And which was a good conversation because she was one of those people that had the last 10, 15, which can be really tough, right? So enjoy the progress you've made because as you get closer to that goal, it becomes a little more challenging for some, not all, but for some. But so we'll toss to her, and I just want to say thank you again.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yay.
See? It's over.
That's it.
That was
good. like what? Do I get up?
Now what?
Do you want me to leave?
Hey. You're alive, huh?
Yeah.
Hey.
We've been experimenting, like we'll go live on the computer.
Uh-huh.
Because it makes it feel like we have an audience here, even though we don't.
Oh, okay.
We need like clapping. Yay.
Yeah. And then we give people a chance to like behind the scenes kind of see what goes on.
Right.
Even as we're having this conversation, we're live.
Oh, all right.
Right. So she was saying, is she in that, downstairs you had I don't know if it's still down there.
It's not down there, but she was in that photo.
It's of the lineup
Yes.
of on stage.
Yep.
So
I was saying I had that
cool
trophy.
is that?
Yep.
My kids destroyed it. They played with it so much. They were like, Mommy's trophy.
Yeah, that is so cool.
Yeah. So
I was like on the end, I think.
Yes,
I was
you
wearing
were.
like a light
Mr.
colored
Troop was you
long
were near
hair.
Troop.
I didn't know any of the
Yeah.
people.
He was the guy with the suit on that. So Troop Real Estate was one of our
Okay.
sponsors.
How neat.
Yeah.
It was
And
fun.
then I didn't
Must
reach
have been
out
my
to you
essay.
after that for the infomercial.
Nope. Nope.
Did you move shortly after that?
I got pregnant and I had a rough
Okay, so-
pregnancy.
You
So
were telling
I had
me
a
about
really
that.
rough pregnancy. So,
So that's what happened.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I never could get, I just couldn't get it back together. I just had a really rough pregnancy. And then we moved when Jonah was 9 months old. 9 months old, 10 months old. So yeah, so we were still around for about a year and a half. I continued to teach. We didn't leave till 2007. July of 2007 is when I moved. So
Okay, so 2007 is when I brought in people from that challenge, and many of them were in the infomercial.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
right on.
I think you had like an office down in Thousand Oaks at the time.
Yep. So I had a gym.
Yeah, you did, and you were there all the time because I used to work with your ex more than I worked with you. Like when I did the challenge, she did all my measurements and my weigh-ins and everything.
Okay.
So
is that in Ventura?
mhm.
But we had an
And
office at Total One,
because
right?
Total, but then you moved to Mavericks, so I finished everything up at
Oh, yeah, that's
Mavericks.
right, we went to
Mavericks
Mavericks.
is where I did all my like workouts and everything like that. I had like This is how bad I had all my like workouts that were in that book, and I made copies of all of them, and I had like little cards, and I would go around the gym and do all the activities. But like I had them in like little cards, so I didn't have to carry the book around.
Right.
So I'd remember like what to do, because that's one of my hardest struggles is like actually doing the workout myself. I'd rather go to a class any day. That's why I totally enjoyed CrossFit, because it was like
they tell you what
there it is. You're with people, like you're feeding off of everybody's energy. So to do it at home is like it's super unmotivating.
Like a different level of motivation. Yeah.
But I tell you, when you're doing the Fab 5, or not when you did Hit 50, when you're doing those intervals and you get out of breath, that 30 minutes goes really fast.
Yeah, it does.
You know what I mean? Like this, the warm up takes time.
It does.
And then you're like, I wish it would slow down because I'm not ready to do that first burst.
Right.
And then you have that last 10 minutes, which is torture for me when I'm cooling down.
Yeah.
So I don't do well with cool downs because
it's like you want to just be done.
I just want to be done.
Yeah. I'm the same way. I just want to. Like,
not me. I like that cool down. I'm like, oh my God, I made it.
Yeah, but that structure is really helpful. Like I know what to do. Like you said, I know what to do when I work out. But when you have a set structure and a set list of things to do, it just sometimes we just need that. We need that just clarity, just a laundry list of something to do. We don't have to think. We just execute.
Right. Well, that's what happened this morning. And then I'm really big on, so you know, like when you're watching the clock tick down. So let's say I have a 10-minute cool down, right? So I'm 8 minutes. I got 2 minutes to go for the cool down. Years ago, I go, yeah, I'm good, and I would leave. Today, I go, I got 2 more minutes.
Yep.
So if I'm with people, they're like, dude, let's just go, man. I mean, you're cooled down, you're good. Okay. Nah, man. I said I got 2 more minutes.
I got 2 more minutes.
And then it'll get to the 1 minute mark. And they go, dude, really? And
yes.
I go, yeah. And then it's like 30 seconds to go. Dude, let's go.
I'm totally like that. No,
you don't got 30 more seconds?
Nope.
And I wait until I see it hit 0. Then I'm off.
Yeah, that's how I am too.
Yeah.
It's almost like, then if I felt like I started a little late, then I'll even add on, okay, I think I missed 20 seconds of that sprint. So I'll make sure I do that 20 second additional sprint.
So in your house, I bet when you open the cabinets, all of your cans, you can see the face of them, right?
Right now it's a little bit not that way, but usually I like to see. Because that way I know
you are like type A to the tilt. Like I'm like type A in some things, but not in others. Like there's just not enough hours in the day.
Right. It's not sleeping with the enemy OCD, but it's enough where I can look at my cans and I kind of know what's there.
I could be that way if I wasn't married. Right. Nobody else, my children wouldn't maintain that, but it'd be easy to they don't rifle through the cabinets as much. But my husband doesn't. He doesn't like that at all. So it took me years to just get him to put the laundry in the laundry basket so it could get done. I'm not going to wash it if it's not in the laundry basket. So he learned quickly, you want clean clothes, they have to be in the laundry basket.
Yeah.
But as far as maintaining that kind of organization, I could do it. It's in me.
Yeah.
Organize my clothes by spaghetti straps, short, no sleeves.
My clothes need work. I like my refrigerator organized though too, because that way I like to be able to wipe everything down and if there's old food in there, I could toss. I just did that today too. I got rid of some old stuff. I need some new goods. I need to go grocery shopping too.
So I got to teach my kids that. Maybe you can help me, because
teach them what?
When they leave, I now go into their bedroom and I just look under the bed. I'm going to see a bowl or something.
Are you serious?
Oh yeah, I'm going to see.
Oh, my children aren't allowed to eat in their rooms.
Okay.
Yeah, that is the rule, and that will never happen.
Yeah,
you're only allowed to have water in your room, and even then, you better throw the water bottles away. We don't eat in the back of the house. That's the rule.
All right, so there you go.
That is the rule. You don't eat in the house.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're gonna come back in a week and you're gonna have moldy, rotten cereal. I'm gonna leave it there.
You gotta put tell them to put their plates in the sink. And I always tell Jacob, if you don't wash it,
they tend to forget to do that.
Oh.
But anyway.
No, we don't eat in our room.
We're working on that.